welcome to Quirky Queen's Journals. My name's Kirsten. So I've been making acrylic skins. I've made lots of them in lots of different ways, and I'll show you them as the video goes on. But I love the kind of depth you can get with some of them, and then sort of slight paint pouring effects. You could also have, some of them can be a bit double-sided. This one here, I've just got little bits of the paint that's been caught in the corner of like a lid that I've used to make them. This one, I can't decide what side I prefer. This is a texture paste. So there's lots of different ways. I've mostly used PVA glue because of the cost factor. £2.49 for however much that is, a litre. Because the pouring mediums and that are quite expensive. But anyway, we'll get started. So one of the first things I want to show you is using it to lift drawings off of the surface. This is some charcoal. You do want to be quite generous with your application though, so that you can get it lifted up. Charcoal doesn't want to write on the freezer paper very well, does it? And all I'm going to do now is squeeze my glue. I have my spreader, wherever I've put it. I found a credit card I can use. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of pulling it over the top. I'm swiping it rather than sort of overly moving it. I'm not pressing hard. See the way that glue moved there? Just getting it so I get coverage. I'm just going to leave that to the side. Now I've made it with oil pastels. Picks up oil pastels really well, as you can see. And I have been using it to collage in my books. So that there's oil pastel that I've lifted. But what you can see as well, sometimes you can kind of break it. So you've kind of got more manipulation than you do when you just draw it. That one there is more as it was drawn. But you can see where bits of the oil pastel haven't lifted off of the freezer sheet, and you get these little gaps. And I really like that. That's more oil pastel. And there, that's oil pastel as well. I'm going to pour the glue . You could water it down as well. I've done that a few times. Kind of covering this design in the hope that we can get some of it lifting. It may just have coloured the freezer paper rather than left a layer. We shall see. Okay, so a big one is adding to it. So I've got these little sequins, and what I like about this is that because you can add this on top of a picture and you've just got a clear indication of them. So like that there, I could add that to, like, paint it onto a canvas, and it's already, those little details are already done for me. There's nothing. Got a wee thing that I move it about. Basically, I'm making these to use as kind of collage. This is ready to pour paint, but you could use paint that I'll show you, and mix it up with some pouring medium. This, the sort of pattern that I'm creating, it doesn't stay as sharp as this as it is at the moment, but you still get some hints of it. There we go. So just need to leave that to dry. See, because I've added water, it'll take longer to dry. But you can see there, that's buttons. That one there is, in fact, you can see there, see the wee holes there and there. That's just where it's not quite covered. This is leaves and flower petals. Now I'm not quite sure how I've made that so white. I think that is actually, I'm not sure, because I was experimenting with pouring mediums as well. This is a necklace that I took apart. So number 3, I've kind of not designed a picture. Look at that there. See the way that's got a bit of depth in it? I think that's the water area and amongst the glue that's done that. But you can see some lovely, you couldn't paint that on, that wee, like those lines that are there. So it's kind of like a picture on its own. So for this, I am using the glue again. I'm going to add some water in. I just play about with mixing these and a little bit of pouring medium, because what I'm hoping is that I will get different when it mixes itself all together. I'm hoping that I'll get a sort of variety that's going to give me those different areas of depth and transparency. There you go. Going to add some more glue, I think. Also, I like the organic outline of this. There we go, I think that's enough. So for this one, I'm going to add some of these little bits here in. Just these tiny little leftover bits that haven't quite been scraped off, or they've been scraped off but they, you know, the veg just ended up a bit too separate. I've seen another one there that I really liked. Look at that, the outline on that, and on that side as well. Then we have the brushes. So this is Scarlet, which this is one of my absolute favourites. There. Do you know, I think that was acrylic ink, and I think that helped keep the brushes from overspreading. This is dark brown. These are like mica powders, I think. Okay, and then I've got some of this gold leaf type stuff. I like how you just tip it and it grabs it. Oops. Now, you can see some lovely effects where the acrylic skin is went over the copper leaf, but also where it still shows through in areas as well. It does slightly bleed out colour wise. This is a bit high flow, it's like acrylic ink. I'm just touching it in places and letting it'll bleed out as it desires. It's good when you catch a watery part with it. But also, we want it, all three of them to be making a difference to it. Okay. I feel like I should put a bit of red up here. There. Right, I'm not going to move it around, just going to let it sit and just do whatever it's going to do. You will find you need a bit of a space for these to let them dry, because they need to leave at least overnight. Sometimes if they're a bit thicker, they might need 48 hours. You're better not to try and pry them up too early, because if they're not completely dry, they stick, and that's how you end up with, well, another reason why you end up with bits missing. Okay, for the next one I'm going to use some pastes, gels. That's black lava gel. This is glass bead. So I'm just going to smooth this out. I've put far too much down for this one. Well, not far too much, because I can just make a thicker one, but why waste resources? What I'll do is I'll just spread it right across the page. This is like This is light modelling paste. So obviously, like, people put this through stencils, etc. And that's another way to do it. But I'm just making myself, I'm making myself collage acrylic skins so that I can use them. I'll cut them to what I want them to be when I'm going to use them, and that may be through a stencil. Now the glass bead gel, I could leave it like that, but what I'm going to do is add some of the glue to it, because it's quite, it doesn't level very well, so this will just help fill in the gaps basically. It'll just give it a bit of a smoother so that I'm not left with lots of, I'm trying to find one. So there you can see, you know, the gaps where it's not been level on the paper, so it was too thin to pull off. Oops, I've just put some black lava on that as well. That's fine. I'm going to add some paint. No, acrylic ink. Let's add some acrylic ink. So a wee bit of quinacridone gold high flow. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spray a bit of water down. That'll just help us disperse a wee bit in amongst. Just making this a spotty one. Very spotty. I could have mixed the colour with it, the modelling paste, before I started, but got some bronze acrylic ink. So as I'm mixing it, I'm actually creating broken lines in amongst the paste, so I'll probably add some glue in. I think the acrylic ink wasn't the best addition because I think it's quite thick and it's sitting on top of it, which is thick. I'm just going to mix it like this now. It's clearly meant to be more of a sheen. Oops. There. I'm going to add some pastel dust onto that. Okay. And then I'm going to take my trusted I'm just going to lightly. I'm very much doing it on the top rather than pushing through. Whereas with that one, I don't think, I wasn't just lifting the top. Okay, I'm going to leave these to dry. Okay, so for the painting, the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to use different consistencies of paint. So this is quite a soft body. This one here, I feel like it's heavier than this one. This is a high flow, like an acrylic ink. This one's funny, you can almost draw a little bit with it. We've got some, if there's any in there, an acrylic ink and a fluid. So we just got a mixture of weights. So I'm going to start with this one. Okay, this is some of the heavy body one, if I can get it moving. It's coming. Clearly haven't used this one in a while. Okay. Actually, oops, a bit too much there. Maybe just, no. So this down here is actually very thin. So what I might do is add some glue over the top just to give us something a bit easier to pull. Okay, I'm going to use something cleaner. I don't want to lose what's there, so I'm just going over the top because because I like what we've created. There we go. That one was actually a bit of a surprise to me because that I hadn't, you know, the thinness of that and then putting the glue on top, because I'm really liking what's happening here. Now remember, this glue will dry. And also with these ones is you can get a bit of a surprise underneath as well. So I'm going to leave that to dry. Right, what I'm going to do this time is, let me think, I'm going to put a line quite thick. So this one I'm using the same consistency of Paint the High Flow and acrylic ink. I'm just going to put some of the lemon yellow as well. Right, I'm going to let that sit before I do anything to it. That is beautiful. What if I just slightly tilt it? Right, leave it be. I'm just going to reuse this one. Some likely it'll come up, but you never know. Let's make a ring this time. Right, I have actual pouring paints, but you can make these by adding pouring medium. You could also just add normal paints and see what happens. This one's going to be quite thick, I can tell. Let's put some purple in the middle on top of that glue. I do like it when you see it start to move up into the glue. Okay. Although I've lost it a wee bit there. What I might do is try a brush with it. I think I'm going to put the purple round the outside. Might use a bigger brush actually. Let's see what happens. I don't like the big brush. Right, now I've completely ruined it. What I'm going to do is swiped it. Let's see. I gave it a swipe. You can see some of the cells appearing that they talk about, but I've only done that with PVA glue, so I wouldn't be expecting too much. And I lost my pattern that I was intending in the first place. Okay. Right, let's have a look at this one. I'm a bit scared after the last one. Have I left it too long? I fear the turquoise is quite heavy. I footered for that long with the other one. Right, let me swipe here. I fear I've left it too long. Let's spray some water on top of it just to see if I can get any moving with that. I'm sure we'll have something good in there. Right. Please, please, please work. Oh, gorgeous. Okay, this has been drying for 48 hours and it's completely solidly dry. So see this palette knife here? This is what I use because I try and just get under an edge and then I pull at it. I prefer them a bit thinner because, well, they dry faster, but I like the transparency of it being thinner. Like this is quite thick there. Oh, I've stuck them together. I'll just pull them apart slowly. If you leave them lying together, that's what happens. I will get them apart. Take me a few days. I'll just do it slowly. Bye, Jay. Love you too. Okay, so that's not coming up. If it's too thin, it'll just stay there, and I'll lift it again. Okay, so that's the underneath, and that's the top. And I'll put it on some wood. Just on these, and you can see. So you can see there that it will show up in the spaces where it's thinner and the paint's not fully spread. You'll see parts of what was underneath coming through. Try and show you a more consistent colour. And there with the white. It's lovely, this one. I love the shape of it. This one I just took off myself. I've dropped a bit of this one on it. But you can see there, we've got those lines. Which again, or we can do it this side. It's a wee bit less shiny on this side. But it'll just add interest in a painting. It's just another way to add marks, isn't it? Probably to start with, you're better going a wee bit thicker until you get used to the sort of ways that it comes off. Another way to do it as well is to glue it, like, you know, put glue, matte medium, whatever, onto your paper, your painting, and then apply this and then take it off. But I would do that with maybe a bit thicker, because I haven't properly tried that yet, actually. There you go. Love that. Right, put that there. Slip collage. And then this one's a bit thicker, so it'll come off fairly easily. What I do is I just, if I feel that it's sticking, like there's parts of it not coming, I just stop and I come in from a different angle. That's the underneath of that one, which I might even prefer. And obviously you don't need to use that as a whole, that can be cut up, torn up, etc. Okay, these ones have dried, but too thin. You know what I might do with this one? It's absolutely gorgeous, but it's quite thin. I might just put a little layer of glue over it. Not too much, just enough to make it easier to lift. And I'll try it again once this is dry. This was the modelling paste. Oh, that's lovely. It's lovely at both sides, isn't it? Let's see what it would look like over. See, you've got different levels of transparency with it. It's lovely. Got a funny feeling this one might break in half. This is the one that I added glue to at the bottom because I felt it was quite thin at the bottom. Do you know, I think the paint's in their own. I do think the glue makes a difference. Adding the glue makes it a bit more, makes it less fragile. There we go. That is lovely. Let's see this side. I love this at that side very much. I'm just going to take it apart because this one that I added the glue on top of is actually much nicer at this side, whereas that's, I mean, it's good at that side as well, but obviously much better at that side. I actually can't decide what side I prefer. It's very tie-dye effect, isn't it? Definitely this side for that one. This is the glass bead gel. These always tend to be a bit thicker, so they peel up very easily. Could have done more with this, I reckon. I mean, it's as good as it is, and it'll be nice over. Oh, actually, be very nice over. Come on. There we go. I really like this one, and I'm not sure which side I prefer. Lava gel. This one, see, pulling at it, you'll get some movement in this one. You can manipulate it to give you sort of transparency. You know, you can make it more transparent, is what I'm trying to say. Now this is interesting. Especially here. So that acrylic ink was a bit gunky, a bit gloopy. It thickened up a bit, and gave this interesting chalkiness, and then it's like sort of spray on the back. Lovely. Okay, I was going to do a kind of show and tell to end with, but there's that much. I've got so much of it here that I think what I'll do is, my next step is to use this in collage. So I think what I'll do is, you'll see it a lot more in the next video. Oh, so good, isn't it? So thank you for watching. This is, you know, still quite experimental to me because, you know, it's quite new to me, but I just thought I'd share it with you anyway, because I think that it's not that dissimilar to the gel plate, and I'm using Reynolds freezer paper as my surface, but you could use silicone matte, you know, just anything really that you can let it dry on and then sort of pull it up from. But anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.